Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a video I have not posted in a very long time, but this W website, Playoff Predictors, playoffpredictors.com, these dudes are dogs, and if you want to make your own college football predictions, they've got it, bro. I've been waiting for this website to update for so long to give us a 2024, and I don't know how long ago they did it, but I just checked it, and it's here. So we are doing a really early Big 12 predictions. I'm going to get through all the Power 4 conferences, maybe some Group of 5, not too sure about that. It is currently July 12th at 1 a.m. in the morning. So, this is really early. Depending on stuff that could happen, I could do another prediction, but I don't think I will. I think I'll stick with this. And I got to start off with my dogs, with my boys at ASU, of course, expected. And I just got to say, prepare for mic noise. I just got to say, I think it's right back at it, right where we left off last year. I think ASU is underrated, of course. I don't think we're going to be as bad as people are giving us credit for. I mean, people don't know that we were missing infinite starters last year. Half of our games were played without our starting quarterbacks, and there were multiple games we played with our fourth string quarterback. We still have a quarterback problem, or so people think. I think the quarterback that we have is steamrolling, and we found our easy candidate. As well as people are hopefully going to stay healthy this time. I mean, we were not a good team last year. There were a lot of games we got smoked, but there was also a lot of games we fought till the very end. And if a couple more things went our way, who's to say we don't go 6-6? We lost by 3 to Cal. We lost by 3 to Colorado. We gave up at the end of the USC game. We just gave up a bad touchdown. Whatever. I mean, of course, those are all ifs, but that's all I'm saying. You have every right to say that ASU is going to be a bad team. I don't blame you. But I'm going to say we start off the year by beating Wyoming, although this one is definitely pretty scary because Wyoming was a tough-ass team last year. They played Texas 4 quarters, and they beat Texas Tech, which wasn't a bad team. Wyoming is a pretty strong team. I think they could be a little scary, but I think going into ASU is probably just going to be too hard. It might be really close, though. Might come down to a last-second field goal. On the other hand, though, I think ASU takes Mississippi State. I think we take them relatively easy. I'm not too sure what's been happening over there, but I have not heard any noise from this team, and they're probably going to be the worst team in the SEC. I'm taking Texas State over ASU. This Texas State team, they've got Texas recruiting, and they are dogs. They were good last year, and they are going to be better this year. There's no way ASU is going into Texas State and they're winning that football game. There's just no way. They're actually a damn good football team, and I'd honestly be really surprised if ASU could win this game. And if ASU started off 3-0, that'd be a huge W. But we are definitely not going and beating Texas Tech on the road. No way. Ain't happening. But now this is where things get weird, because I'm big on home field advantage in college football. I feel like that is something everybody should take into account for much more than it is, because of how many times historically it has mattered. There is the occasional, upset on the road, but that's very rare considering or against the home field advantage. Typically, upsets occur on another team's turf, on the upsetter's turf. And that's why I feel like ASU actually kind of got pretty good this year with the home field. I mean, first off, I just want to say how we have probably the hardest schedule in the Big 12. We play Kansas, Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Arizona. Those are all 5 teams that are in question for the Big 12 championship, and ASU managed to get 5 of those teams out of 12 games. That's kind of wild. But I don't think we beat Kansas. I really don't. Kansas is going to be a really good team. as long as Jalen Daniels. Wait, Jalen. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Daniels. I know. Bro, I'm tweaking. Whatever. Their quarterbacks. He's a dog. He has always struggled with injuries, but if he manages to stay healthy, this Kansas team is probably going to take the Big 12. As well as same thing here. If Utah keeps Cam Rising healthy, they will take it here. Now, I feel like if Kansas loses their quarterback, they still win against ASU. They've got plenty of help everywhere else. Utah, on the other hand, we saw how bad they were without Cam Rising. If they lose Cam Rising, this could be ASU's ball game. But I feel like this one will be probably a blowout. Kansas just has more everything. And this one will probably be closer only because of defense. I think Utah's offense might struggle to get stuff done, even though Cam Rising is a dog. I just think they might have like less weapons offensively. And, of course, Utah's defense is always super strong. I don't want to take ASU over Cincinnati. Even though I think Cincinnati's going to be a pretty bad team, ASU is notoriously bad for traveling long distances, but I'll take them over Cincinnati. That might be an unpopular opinion. I know people are not high on Cincinnati at all, and this is going to be a shithole game, but ASU should be able to take them out. I really don't know anybody on Cincinnati. I think they're just a shitter school. Not beating Oklahoma State. Home game versus UCF. UCF is going to be they're not awful, but I just think this is one of those games where they just drop one, Every mid team is a mid team because they do shit like drop games, but then they can turn around and upset the good teams and compete. We're not hitting the road and beating Kansas State. We are definitely beating BYU on our home turf, and we're not hitting the road and beating Arizona. I would love to hit the road and beat Arizona, but I don't think we are. I've got ASU going 5-7 in the Big 12. I know that might be higher expectations than a lot of people think, but I don't think we're getting much credit at all. I think we're just being glossed over and referred to as a bad team, even though people aren't really looking. But ASU was one of the most injured teams last year, always flying through different quarterbacks, and we had I think at some point the most injured starters or something like that. I mean, we couldn't even get into week 1 without our starting quarterback getting hurt. It was bad. But hopefully we're going into this year healthy, and let's see if we can stay healthy. And I feel like that's going to make a big-time difference. That'd make a difference for any football team. You can hate it. You can love it or hate it. We'll go with Oklahoma State next. Oklahoma State, I'm really, really high on this team. We can first off just go like this. That's too easy. We can say that. This will be a fun game. But this Oklahoma State team is being slept on, I think. Ollie Gordon is a very good running back, but I feel like Alan Bowman, the quarterback, I feel like he's getting glossed over. I mean, he didn't get to play the first 3 games of the year for Oklahoma State, and he churned that team around. I mean, absolutely churned them around. I don't know if he wasn't playing because they benched him or if he was hurt, but once he got healthy or became the starter again, they turned around, and they ended up making the Big 12 championship after losing 33-7 at the start of the year to some team called South Alabama or something. He's not getting a whole lot of credit for what he did to that offense, and Oklahoma State is still, they've recruited. I don't know why we're not giving him any credit, really. I feel like they're being kind of glossed over. And considering Utah has to hit the road and go play Oklahoma State, I think Oklahoma State starts off 4-0. Against Kansas State, I do think this Kansas State team is going to be heavily overrated, and I might take an unpopular opinion here. I think Oklahoma State's going to win on the road and then come back home and beat West Virginia. Not losing on the road to BYU, but they lose here to Baylor. They lose on the road to Baylor. Baylor, they are not the best, but they just managed to beat this team. I mean, even when both teams are good, Baylor manages. When they're bad, Baylor manages. And then on the road at TCU, I've got to take TCU as well. And then we finish off the year with 2 easy wins. it's a good thing. It's cool to see that U of A and Oklahoma State don't play each other. Makes sense. I've got this team going 10-2. I think they are going to be a very tough team going into this game. This is just a game. This could be, I don't know if there's any other week 4 games that are going to be this highly hyped up, but this could be college game day. And considering Oklahoma State will go into this game 3-0, and Utah will probably go into this game 3-0, this is going to be a full Oklahoma State stadium, a place Utah has not played, and it's going to be really hard for Utah to play there. I think Oklahoma State takes that one with ease. Kansas State, on the other hand, is going to host this, and I think this one will be close, but I truly think Kansas State's going to be heavily overrated this year. I think they are getting way too much hype. They weren't even that good last year, and the quarterback played like in their bowl game and had a good bowl game. But like, what do bowl games even mean right now? And everybody's going to gas this team up. I disagree. I don't think that is. Will Howard is gone. I don't think this team is going to be. They're not going to live up. They're just not going to live up. And Oklahoma State did it last year. They'll do it this year. They always drop bad games. Oklahoma State lost in the Big 12 championship in like 2021 to Baylor. When they had a ticket to the college football playoff, they sold by half an inch or half a yard. And last year they lost really, after beating Oklahoma, I think they turned around and lost. They lost one, I think. I don't remember who it was to, but then they turned around and got absolutely slaughtered by UCF, and I think that's just going to be the thing there. I don't think ASU stands a chance against them on the road, but I think Oklahoma State will struggle on the road games once they're regarded as a top dog. Once they go 8-0, these fans and these teams are going to give Oklahoma State their best shot. ASU is going to be worn out and they're hitting the road. That's probably going to be devastation. However, Oklahoma State going into Baylor they're going to get their best shot, and it's probably not going to be pretty. It's probably going to be a poor performance by Oklahoma State and a good performance by Baylor. Same thing here. On to the next. Let's do Arizona next. So we've got 2 easy wins there. On the road at Kansas State, I'll take Arizona. That's weird. Why does Arizona have so many? Am I tweaking? Wait. Why do they have an extra? Why do they have an extra conference game? What? They only play 2 non-conferences? What? Am I tweaking out? Hello? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What? Okay. I'm not sure why that's the case. What is the same thing for Kansas? No, what? Wait. Yeah, there's 12 games. That's weird. All right, whatever. Back to the video. Okay, Kansas State is probably going to lose to U of A on their home field, although this one could be very close as well, all right? This one could be very close as well, just because this will be, let's see Kansas State. Let's actually make it, yes. Okay, Kansas State is hitting the road against the Green Wave, but not happening. Kansas State and Arizona are going to meet. I think Kansas State will have a lot of fans, and this is on Friday, which it's on, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that, at 5 p.m., so probably getting close to a night game in Kansas State. Probably actually might be night in Kansas State. But Arizona, they are good. I'll swallow that pill. They've got Noah Fafita as a quarterback, even though I'm not too high on this Arizona team this year as I was last year. They've got a good receiver, a really strong receiver, and a really good quarterback. However, Arizona outside, including coach, they are really, really lacking now. They are really starting to suffer. They had a very, very strong team last year, And a lot of people transferred out, including their head coach. Some players got drafted, and they are going to struggle more than they did last year. And that will show once they play Utah. I see a lot of people saying that U of A is going to go into Utah and win. That doesn't happen. That does not happen. That Pac-12 historically, that does not happen. I don't care how good Arizona is. That does not happen. That is ASU's title. I'll give them that. But I'm just saying, U of A is not going into Utah. Really, not a whole lot of people are ever going to go into Utah, a really strong Utah team, and they're going to win. It's really difficult to do so. And there's no exception here. It's going to be bad for U of A in that game. They will host Texas Tech, and they will win. This is probably going to be a super offensive Texas Tech team. Going on the road to BYU, BYU is not going to be good. Host Colorado. They struggled with Colorado last year. This is going to be an offensive battle, but ultimately, home field advantage. Give me Arizona. West Virginia is probably going to be a pretty solid team. However, home field advantage. Give me that. This is where stuff gets interesting. Arizona versus UCF. UCF is going to be a pretty good team, and Arizona's got to go all the way to Florida. And, dude, UCF they're kind of dogs over there. I'm going to give them that. I'm going to give UCF this win over Arizona. Arizona's not going to be able to keep this up for a long time, but they will be able to beat Houston. I want to give this one to Tucson or a TCU. But since I said Tucson, I was kind of split. I said Tucson accidentally. We'll take that as a sign. Give me Arizona. 10-2. I know I just said they aren't going to struggle as much as they did in the Pac-12. I don't know what I'm even saying. I know I said they are going to struggle more than they did in the Pac-12. But also, one of the losses U of A picked up was because they were using the wrong quarterback at the time, and he absolutely sold against Mississippi State. Arizona could have very easily had this record last year if they would have gotten their shit straight. Now they're entering a weaker conference, but they're not changing their record. I think there could be a couple games they drop right here and right here, but I'm going to give them 10-2. And I think they can secure a Big 12 championship appearance because they've got more conference games. If they win more, I think they just get in. But now this team, Kansas, they do have to hit the road in Illinois. Could be sketchy. Hitting the road against West Virginia is going to be hard. I'll come back to that one. That's a big one. But against TCU, give me that. Against Houston, give me that. Against Kansas State, give me that. Against Iowa State, give me that. Against Kansas or BYU against. Dude, they've got an easy schedule, man. They've got a very, very easy schedule this year. 3 hardest games being at West Virginia, at Illinois, and at Kansas State. So I think for safekeeping, I'll give this to West Virginia. But seriously, dude, you could think I'm crazy saying Kansas goes 11-1. Really, who's stopping them? We know this is going to be a really good Kansas team. Who's stopping them? Their schedule is probably the lightest in the Big 12. Their road games are barely difficult. West Virginia is probably going to be better than people think, but they're still the 6th top. There's 5 teams that are in Big 12 conversation. West Virginia's the 6th, but they're not getting that conversation. So I think this is just light work for Kansas. Give them a Big 12 championship appearance. I think it's light work for Kansas this year. Utah. Oh, so Utah gets only 2 games as well. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know why that is. Maybe because there's so many teams. But Utah, lose on the road to Oklahoma State, bounce back with Arizona, beat ASU on the road, beat them. This could be sketchy. This could be interesting. It depends on how Shedeur performs against a high-tier defense. But ultimately, I don't think Colorado's at that level yet. Give me Utah. And yes, I've got Utah winning a lot of games. So far we've got 11-1 Utah, 11-1 Kansas, 10-2 Oklahoma State, 10-2 Arizona. Let's get on to Kansas State. Kansas State, Colorado, West Virginia, Kansas State. Finish it off with Iowa State. 6-6. I am not high on this Kansas State team. I am not interested in taking the bandwagon. They got really, really lucky with their home games this year, but it's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. I don't know why this team is getting so gassed up. It has been stunning to me with the people saying that Kansas State. No, wrong. Kansas State's not that team. This quarterback is not that guy. And I'll wait to see it. I don't care. Arizona has a better quarterback. Oklahoma State has a better quarterback. Kansas has a better quarterback. I don't even know if the Iowa State quarterback is coming back or not, whoever he was last year. But this was the outcome last year, was Iowa State beat them. They got to hit the road against them. This is not going to be a solid Kansas State team, guys. I think this is going to be a pretty bad Kansas State team. But it's really up to you. Let's go to West Virginia now. West Virginia, I'm going to take them over Penn State. Hot take, question mark? Penn State is a highly ranked team, but why? Do we really think? Let's go ahead and maneuver over to their schedule real quick, even though they're not a team we're predicting today. Let's maneuver over to the schedule. Do we really think Penn State is hitting the road and beating a USC team, maybe even hitting the road and beating Wisconsin? Do we really think they're beating Ohio State? They didn't get Washington or Michigan this year. They got a lot of happy road games. But ultimately, West Virginia, first game of the year, opening the year of West Virginia fans with high hopes. I'll give it to West Virginia, man. They've got fans. They've got traditions, and they're a hard place to play at. I would not fuck around with this team, especially how disregarded they were last year. They're probably pretty pissed this year. West Virginia. Give me West Virginia over Penn State. Might be a hot take. I'm not too sure about Pitt. I know this is a big rivalry, but I'm still going to take West Virginia. Pitt was not that good of a team last year. West Virginia. I'll take Tech. I'll take the Tech there. I would take UCF and switch those if it was a road game at UCF, but to finish off the year against the Tech, it's going to be a heavy offensive game in there, and I think the home field advantage. Tech has also got really good fans, and final game of the year, it's always going to be really, really hard to finish off the year with a win if you're on the road. You know, it's really hard. It's last game students, last game fans. You know, I'll take Texas Tech there. We'll stay realistic with this team. We can't have another 10-2 team. We'll go 9-3 with West Virginia. Texas Tech time. No. Washington State's going to be bad. Yeah, I can agree with 8-4 for Texas Tech. I think that's pretty all right. On the road against Washington State, just visually me looking at it looks like an easy click. But really, Washington State is going to be a very, very bad team next year. They were already pretty bad this year, unexpectedly, and their quarterback is gone. What is there left at Washington State? Absolutely nothing. This is going to be a bad Washington State team. Texas Tech will steamroll. And then they've got 3 games at home. God, what am I even saying? At home on the road. This team is just going to be reliant on their home field, I feel like. And when they hit the road, they're not going to be able to compete on the road. They're not going to be able to provide. So TCU, I'm not too sure what my opinion on them is this year, because I think they're going to be a bit better, but I'm still not too sure because I don't know anything about this team. And I know Iowa State was a good team last year, and I was pretty high on them last year, but I, again, don't know if they lost or gained too much. So let's do TCU next. Sorry, they are winning on the road to Stanford. Give me SMU, okay? SMU's been fighting for this game for a while, and they finally built the team to beat this TCU. They've finally built it. SMU wins there. I'll give Cincinnati some love. Okay. Closing out the year against TCU, they'll win that one. Baylor as well. They've got to get some wins somewhere, and 6-6 is relatively reasonable for TCU, especially pulling off an upset against Oklahoma State and probably Texas Tech. That'd be considered one. After starting off the year poorly, bounce back with a solid win there. Yeah, fair. Fair to me. Looks good to me. Let's do Iowa State now. Iowa State wins there. They lose there. They win there. Oh. Houston's also being regarded as a pretty bad team. Win. Yeah, 8-4. I agree with 8-4 for Iowa State. That seems pretty reasonable to me. You're going to see this trend a lot. You're going to see this a whole lot. I think Iowa State goes 8-4. They were a respectable team last year. I think they went 7-5, but they started off the year poorly. They're not going to start off the year poorly again. They barely lost to Iowa last year, and they barely lost to that Ohio team last year. Those were their two worst games that they dropped, and they never looked back. That was when they finally started to find their flow, and, yeah, they never looked back. This time, they're just going to drop one to Iowa simply because it's in Iowa Stadium, and Iowa's probably just going to be the better team. Let's do Baylor. Not high on this Baylor team. Not high on them. I can agree with 5-7. Got to give some to Houston. I can agree with 5-7. Nothing really needs to be said here except it is very sad to see how hard Baylor fell off because, they were a pretty good team. They're not winning this year. They're not winning on the road to Nebraska. It's not happening. UCF wins there. Colorado's not improving this year. Again, I don't have high hopes. Well, I had high hopes from last year, I think. I don't remember. I'll have to watch my prediction video from last year back. But I don't have high hopes on them this year. I think they've got more to go through. UCF time. Oh, interesting. Florida in the middle of the year. I'll take Florida there. And this team goes 6-6. I'm pretty sure that's what they went last year. They've got a tough schedule. They've got a pretty tough schedule. 1, 2 ranked teams and then difficult road games. I'll take 6-6 for UCF. Sorry, I'm kind of flying through these. If I'm flying through these, and if you're still watching the video right now, it's because I'm not too knowledgeable on these teams. I'm more knowledgeable on the higher ranked teams because everybody is. I'm not too knowledgeable on teams like Houston. You know what I'm saying? Brigham Young wins there. Cincinnati wins there. 3-9 for Houston. On to the next. Cincinnati. I'll take Miami, Ohio. They beat them last year. 4-8 for Cincy. 4-8 for Cincy. Dude, I think I had Cincy. Dude, I got to watch my prediction video back. I think I had Cincy going 9-3 or something, bro. Oh, I just realized. I probably got to go back to that. All right, let's go down here. Brigham Young. Oh, nah, man. Brigham Young is going to struggle this year. I'm sorry. Those are two tough road games. Yeah, Brigham Young, BYU. Y'all are struggling. Y'all are struggling right now. Maybe the move to a new conference wasn't such a good idea after all. Make sure I'm not missing any Big 12 teams. I don't think I am. I think we got them all. Okay, so we've got Kansas and Utah at the top of the pack. Oklahoma State and Arizona sitting at pretty much tied for second. West Virginia right outside of the pack. Texas Tech and Iowa State being difficult teams all year. TCU, UCF, and Kansas State being the middle end teams. Baylor, Colorado, ASU being all right teams, but not enough to bring down the big dogs, and they drop some bad ones. Cincy, Houston, and BYU are the punching bags and the easy wins of this conference. And then we scroll down and we make sure we are not missing any. Yep. All right, cool. I think I can agree with that. No, I know I can agree with that. That looks like how I would play it out in my brain. Let me know if you guys agree with these predictions. Like, please, if you don't agree, don't comment and tell me how I'm just so horrifically wrong. Just tell me your predictions. Tell me like what I mean, like of course you could say like, oh, I disagree with this and whatnot, but don't just comment and like say like, oh, you're dog shit. I actually want to talk to you. Give me your predictions. And I can see if I could rock with that. And also if you know certain things about teams like Houston and you want to let me know in the comments, don't fret. I'll read them, bro. I'll read the comment thoroughly and I'll give you a response. All right? So please let me know what your guys' predictions are. Just comment. That's all I'm trying to say. Just fucking comment. All right? And tell me your predictions. Like and sub would help. And yeah, I ain't got nothing else to say. That's all from me. Adios.